check under the events section. Comments. And also I sent it by email. Here it goes, just in case you don't have it. Hello, whoever's joining me. We'll start the meeting in exactly 5 minutes. Everyone, I posted a poll. No one can tell who says yes or no, so it's a simple question. It kind of lets us know how good we're doing, how bad we're doing. Here's the quick link, just in case you're having trouble finding it. If you could, when you log in, if you could just say hello in the chat box, so we kind of know who's here. If you've been added as a moderator, remember, if you can answer the questions, help me out, that would be great. We'll be starting the meeting in about 2 minutes. And once again, I did put a little poll there. It's just kind of let us know how well we are doing. If we're not doing well, so we know we need to work on stuff. It's just a yes or no question. If you have a moment, if you have a second, take a second to answer the survey for us. It should have popped up in your chat box. And I am going to go ahead and start the meeting now. There we go. I'm happy with. So everyone, welcome to our annual meeting. I know this isn't exactly what I wanted for a meeting, but due to the high COVID numbers, and I want to err on the side of caution. So we will continue to do these type of meetings until the situation improves. Please make sure, if you're out there, make sure you're taking your precautions, while wearing your face mask, using your hand sanitizer, and keeping your distance where you can. Okay, so as I said, welcome to the meeting. Um, our first bit of business, we're going to start with the clubhouse. If you can hear me, would you please just put a yes in there so I know everyone's hearing me? Can everyone hear me? If you can chat, if you could put something in the box, I know that my voice is coming through. Okay, great. Okay, our first bit of business is the clubhouse. As you already know, the pool is already closed for the year. Um, the main reason for that is the COVID numbers are beyond ridiculous. In Columbus, there's no ICU beds left. There's roughly about 8% left in the whole state. Wherever we can help to prevent people from interacting, to slow it down, that's what we're doing. Um, on the private events side, we're not going to shut the building down for private events. Um, you still will be able to book the building for private events because on that side, that is your responsibility to take the necessary precautions on that. And on Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson's in the meeting right now with us. I just wanted to thank him. He has been helping to manage the pool for the last 2 months, and he's been doing a spectacular job with everything going on. And he has been an extreme help. So if you see Mr. Anderson off magazine, please thank Mr. Anderson for all his help. He's been a lifesaver. Our next bit of business, architectural control. I want to remind everyone, before you start a project, I don't care how small the project is, please send a message to someone on the board or send a message to the email address so we can let you know if your project needs a variance. If you start your project and we have a problem with your project, um, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, we're going to fine you and you're going to tear that project down. And if you tell me you're not going to tear that project down, I will see you in court. We've done it before and we will do it again. Please get permission in advance. Side driveways, we don't need permission for. Um, I'm okay with anyone who puts up a side driveway. If you're going to paint your house, if you're going to paint your fence, some other color besides a wood color, or if you're going to install a fence and you're trying to do some fence besides the shadow box fence, please let us know in advance. Um, our next bit of business, weed control. Um, I don't know if Michelle's in here right now. Michelle does our. She assists me in a lot of things, and she's the HOA secretary. Um, and the rest of the board members can agree. Please, um, it doesn't take much to have. If you're using a service to cut your grass, make sure you're using a service on a regular basis. Some of these yards this year have been ridiculous, and most of the time it's been the same repetitive bunch. Um, let's see. This year, this coming up here, we will be emphasizing weed control. It doesn't cost a lot of money quarterly or bi-monthly. Um, to have a little weed control done because some of your yards, dandelions are not flowers. So please stop telling me that dandelions are flowers. I've heard that from a few people. Um, if you control the weeds, your grass will take over the yard and it will look beautiful. If you look at mine, if you look at Mr. Jesse's across the street from me, if you look at Mr. Willie's, and there's roughly a couple dozen or so more yards. If you look at the Sweetman's yard, if you look at the Anderson's yard on Magazine, um, prime examples. If you look at Mr. Green's yard on Freedom Ridge Court, um, and there's and and there's many other yards. If you look at them and you see that because they do some type of weed control, their grass grows in and it stays thick and beautiful. Um, next thing, we're past architectural control. Now let's go into HOA fees. It is that best time of the year for the HOA. It's HOA billing season. We start billing every year between August and October. This year, we're starting in September. You should start seeing digital bills go out to your email. Some some have already started. All the bills should be out hopefully within the next week to 2 weeks. The earlier you pay, the happier we are. But they must be paid by January the 31st of 2022. Um, there are okay, so and there are some people who still haven't paid for 2021. I just want to go ahead and put this out. I've already sent you out a reminder bill recently. Um, I have already started the process to file the necessary court cases and start the proceedings against all the ones that have not made any contact with us. If you made contact with us, you're good to go. We know that you're going to pay. But if you haven't made contact with us, look for some court papers either at your house or your job within the next 2 weeks, based on how slow the serving service is. Um, the 2022 HOA budget. I'm working with another individual. Hopefully, we will. And we're going to start meeting soon, and we hope to have next year's budget released and sent out to your emails no later than the first week of November. And we should release the recap of the 2021 budget, how we spent your money, how well we managed to stay within the budget, and where we went over January the 5th of next year, give or take a day or two. And that way you can and I hope to make that a regular part of the future for the HOA president to make sure that you know that we're being good stewards of your money and that we're planning out detailed budgets. Okay, the next big thing, I'm going to send out nomination forms for the 2022-23 board in December this year. As you all know, I will not be seeking a sixth term on the HOA board. I've been serving on the HOA board in some form, either as either as an assistant to the board or on the board for the last 7 going on 8 years. I don't have any. My time is running shorter now, and it's time for some fresh blood. We already have a few people that are interested in running. If you're interested in running, please think about it. It's your help makes your community better. And 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 sorry about that. And once again, if you look at our community versus the rest of Columbus, or look at our community versus the rest of the South Side, I've said this for years. We're a diamond surrounded by a field full of coal. Our neighborhood has an extremely low crime rate. Our crime in our neighborhood, it basically surrounds around kids or people going into unlocked cars. We rough Last year we had 11 domestic situations, which domestic is in the home, so it doesn't have anything to do about it doesn't have anything to do with the real crime in the neighborhood. We've had no break-ins. We've had no violence. Of course, outside of the domestic violence. Um, Outside of our neighborhood, there's all kinds of stuff going on. In our neighborhood, you're relatively safe, and we want to keep it that way. And so, if you run for the board, your involvement makes it possible, and it makes it possible for our neighborhood to stay safe, clean, and efficient. And we're going to continue that. Hopefully, even though I will be stepping down, I will still be assisting where I can to the new board. And our records are extremely good, so I'm hoping that the new board will not be left. I can guarantee the new board will not be left where me and the board who took over from the previous HOA board. Uh, our records are thorough, our records are complete, and we have an extremely good relationship with resources outside the community and with the majority of the people in the community. So please think about that and just know that you're not walking into something that's going to eat up all your time. We've managed to narrow down the time that you will need to spend on a weekly basis to manage the homeowners association. So remember, December, look for your nomination forms. This year, they will be going out by mail, email, and available through Facebook. On the billing side, the one thing you will notice different this year is that when you're billed, normally there is a processing fee that we assume, but this year, if you pay digitally, instead of us paying the processing fee, you're going to pay the processing fee. The reason for that is because we run on a very tight budget. Even though the neighborhood's expanding, we still run on a very tight budget, and every dollar that we um, don't receive due to paying processing fees, so you can have an easier way to pay, is money that can't be spent on the community. This year, we've done a lot better than last year. Last year, we were still suffering from the overages from the previous year, and we did have to use money from this year's budget to cover last year. This year, it looks like we're in pretty good shape, and we're probably going to be able to go all the way through 2021 without needing to touch a future budget, our future budget. So, knock on wood for that one. Um, if anyone's got any questions, if you could just pop your questions in there so I can see, I will answer your questions. Um, I want to thank the board this year. Um, we've had the most active board that we've had in many, many, many years. Um, I want to thank Michelle for all her time riding through the neighborhood, doing things for me. I want to thank Mr. Hodge for checking on the building, making sure things are running good over there. Um, um, our our public relations personality, Natasha. She's always there to keep me off Facebook, so I don't post anything that might make the neighbors mad. Um, also, it's I'm sorry, it hasn't been one of my better days. Lala, she's new to our board recently, but she's jumped right in there, and she's assisted me with the billing and any other thing that we've needed. And so I can't thank the board enough. This has made life a little bit easier this year because this has been a very difficult year for me. outside of the homeowners association. Um, has anyone got any questions? I know there's got to be some questions here. Please type your questions in the box. Oh, so while I'm waiting on a question to be typed, I put out some additional information. Financially, our finances are in stable condition. We could be in a lot better, but as usual, we always run a tight budget. Next year will be better than this year. Um, um, uh, Roughly in the bank, we have about $5,000 available. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but when your neighborhood HOA dues are 165 and you're going into the end of the year, that's actually pretty good. And then we still have income that's available to us that is steadily coming in from HOA dues that are due, as well as initiation fees for homes that will be closing. Um, so we're actually in really good shape. Our mortgage on the clubhouse and everything, we're still looking at right now. We're down to 6 years and a few months, which is pretty good. So before you know it, we'll be out of debt and ready to start a new project, or the new boards will be ready to start a new project. Um, I do I've stressed this before. I do request, if you can, send us emails when you have problems or issues. I know that in the past it's always been easy to call me, but I'm carrying an extremely heavy load between home and a few positions that I hold in the community now. So it's easier to reach me by email, and I promise you I will get back to you within a timely manner. Um, let's discuss. I, I know there must be a few questions out there because o- outside of that. For next year, the pool and the whole area will probably be shut down in late January to mid February for upgrades and improvements. Upgrades and improvements will include the interior of the building getting repainted. The pool will probably be drained and professionally cleaned because we have a little bit of metal building up in the bottom, which is natural because we did have some issues with people not following pool rules. So with a pool that gets this much use, certain things will be required on a every other year basis. Um, and this will help maintain our community areas and maintain the value there, because we can't tell you to maintain your property if we're not maintaining your property. Um, for the end of the year, we really don't have a lot more going on for the rest of the year besides, as I say, if you need to book the pool, I'm sorry, if you need to book the building is available. And we push out the information on the Facebook page, or you can send an email. We'll send you the link to go to. Some of you've noticed that we've raised the fee related to rental. Now, we've done that for a couple reasons. One, the building, probably 60% of the time, will is being left in great shape. 40% of the time is not being left. There's a lot of wear and tear on the building. In the past, we've been able to get services cheaper to maintain the building, but with COVID and everything, inflation has been ridiculous. So everything is going through the roof. So now to rent the building for a homeowner, it is $130, and a chunk of that goes for the increased cost of cleaning, and also the increased cost of electricity, water, to make sure that we are not making other neighbors pay for your events cost. Also, for renters, of course, it's still available, and for renters, it's $150 for a private event. Now, remember, in November and December, the rates are different, and we have a special section just for that, just for the fact of it's the holiday season. It's gonna be more taxing to have someone there to make sure the building is set. Also for sanitizing and everything. So I'm sorry if it looks like it's a little bit more costly than you would think it should be. It's just to defray the future cost to the homeowners association. Um, over, Overall, outside of that, there's really not much else going on in our neighborhood. We did have some issues with vandalism this year. I think we managed to get those under control with a little help of the Columbus Police Department and calling out a few people for things that they know they shouldn't be doing. I know many of you said this year that I've been a little bit rougher than I've been a little bit. Some people say I'm a little bit cold, a little bit too direct. I'm sorry if you feel that way, but I found by in the past when I was too nice, I nothing got done, or people just rolled on by and didn't pay attention. By being a little tougher on the rules, I've got a better response, and the neighborhood has stayed under better control. Um, The elections this year will be still held at the end of February, 1st of March, and the new board will take control immediately after that fact. Your fees, wait for your bill. You should get a bill from us within a week or two, and you can pay it digitally, or if you just want to drop it off and get it over with. Our mailbox in front of the clubhouse, it's the big square one that has 1589 on the side of it. All you have to do is write your check out to the Lexington Hills Homeowners Association, and then in the memo section, please include your address. And then we will send you a receipt back within a couple weeks. And that will be how you'll pay this year. We are trying our best to get away from any paper billing because it costs money and it eats up a lot of time. Most of your billing will come from PayPal billing. Oh, hold on one second. Maybe I do. Give me 1 second. Melvin, does architect board cover front and back? Oh, I see your question. I'm so sorry. Architectural does cover front and back, but we do have a policy, an internal policy. We do not make a habit of going into your backyard unless we have a reason to. And what I mean by reason, if your grass is taller than your fence, we will be contacting you, or we will contact the city special enforcement. If you have livestock in your backyard and 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 you know you're not supposed to have livestock. When I mean livestock, I'll tell you a few incidents we've had in the neighborhood. We've had a pig in the neighborhood. Yes, you cannot have a pig in a suburban neighborhood like Lexington Hills within the city limits. Chickens. I like chickens. I would love to have a chicken, but you cannot have a chicken within city limits. Um, a horse. That that's only happened once, but it was only a temporary situation. So I hope that answers your question. And generally, though, we leave you alone in your backyard. You should have your one area where you don't have to worry about what the neighbors think of your decorations. So let me get on to the next question. Let me see what I'm missing. Let's see. Okay, Mr. Stoner, I just signed on. I am Jack Stoner. What number can I call to find out about my account status? Okay, I'm gonna give you my phone number. Everybody has it. 762. I'll just type it in the box. Send me a text message with your address, and I'll send you your account status um, soon. Let's see. Yeah. And Mr. Hodge brought this across again about please. I know we live in with the Delta variant being like it is. and the COVID numbers being so high, please be cautious with your kids. Be cautious um, with your own well-being. Do not make a habit of going out without your mask, even in the neighborhood. I mean, I know we know our neighbors, we love our neighbors, but even if you're out with your neighbors, if they don't live in your household, wear a mask. I know it seems like a lot, but we've got to do everything we can to help bring these numbers down because, as if you look at the local news, our school district just lost a teacher, and I work for the city and the state, um, and every time I turn around, either one or the other one is shutting an office down because we have to sanitize because somebody has contracted COVID or been exposed to COVID. So please, whatever you do, take precautions. Let's see. Is the lake access the lake access is year round? There will be a fence that goes up in front of the pool, which should be happening anytime. Our fencing guy is just a little bit behind. I will get and Mrs. Alvarado, I will get you access to the pool. I've been a little bit behind, but I will get you access to the pool soon, uh, or to the lake area. Sorry. Yes, I see all of the comments as they come down. That's why I'm looking over to answer question. Shameless plug. I still have one. I'm gonna do a little advertising plug for a few of the neighbors while I'm on here because one of them posted something. There's Mr. Anderson has an outdoor blow up business, um, and he has one slide available for this weekend. If you're interested, he's on Magazine. Just find Mr. Anderson on our Facebook page. Yes, it is open. Yes, I'm sorry. I hand out so many cards. I sometimes forget. Um, Also, remember if you need notary services in the neighborhood, we have two or three notaries. If you are in this meeting and you're a notary, please pop it up there so they know that if they need a notary, they can find you. Um, also, so any, any other questions? Aaron, do you have something? Okay. Okay, so let me look up here to make sure I didn't miss any questions that Oh, so one thing I want to put out there too, will there be a neighborhood cookout still? At this point, I'm not going to say there's going to be a neighborhood cookout. This COVID thing, this variant is bad. I don't want to be, I love neighborhood cookouts. We used to have them all the time. We used to have all kinds of events, but these last 2 years have been rough. I do not want to be the center point of a COVID outbreak in our neighborhood. No, he does not have a weed control business, but I tell you, I would call Southern Lawns. They're my favorite. They only charge you once every 2 months, and my lawn and my hills look amazing because of the work that they do, and I pay $50 every 2 months, so that's roughly 25 a month. Um, So no, at this point there probably won't be a barbecue or anything like that because, as I said, I just don't feel comfortable, and I have asthma, so this Delta variant, even though I am vaccinated, scares me like you just don't know. And that's another reason that y'all have seen a lot less of me than you have in the past. It used to be in the past when someone moved in, I was at your door. Or not anymore. Um, as I say, I put my phone number up there if anyone needs it for any particular reason. Our address, Natasha, could you put up the Lexington Hills, or could someone put up our email address, the one that comes to me? It's Lexington Hill HOA president at gmail.com. If interested, the slide. Oh, if you need lawn work done, I can't say this enough. Mr. Willie, Mr. Willie Holmes on Antietam Drive. Mr. Willie will get your yard right. And not only does he do yards, he will do your bushes. Um, he cuts my grass. He cuts a few of the other board members' grass. He probably cuts a good half of this neighborhood's grass. If interested, the slide is blown up. I'm driving. Can someone do? Let's see if yeah. Um, I believe that's pretty much. I noticed some more questions out there. I don't care if it's a harsh question towards me. You know me. I got thick skin. I don't get upset, and I don't block you. So just if you got a question, please ask. Oh, uh, I do want to bring this up. This came to me by email, and I've already had a conversation with one person about it. I know we love our pets. I love my pets. I've got three little doggies now. Um, but the neighbors, if you have a pet in the backyard and they're in a cage, please remember you need to do what you need to do to make sure that pet is quiet in the evenings. We have owners who are allowing their dogs to bark all night long. I mean, there's things that you can do to keep the pet quiet. Please try to do that. Also, leaving your pet outside during these rainstorms. Come on, they're supposed to be part of your family. Would you leave your spouse or your children? Well, some of you would leave your spouses out there, but would you leave your children outside? So think about that when you think about leaving your dogs out in the middle of a windstorm with no shelter or a rainstorm. So I think that's pretty much it. On the weed control and everything, please work on your grass, work on your weeds, be nice to your neighbors. Your father do. I'm so glad you feel welcome. I think I've had one conversation with you so far, but this is extremely friendly neighborhood. I love how Facebook. It may not always be positive, but a majority. I love how everyone communicates. I love how everyone communicates with the board. We may not always see eye to eye on everything, but there's no shutting each other down. And at the end of the day, we're all friends. And as I always tell everybody, every board meeting, your neighborhood is an extension of your family. There's your biological kin, and then there's your neighbors. Um, I believe that's pretty much all. I believe that's pretty much all I have. If you have any additional questions, if there's anyone who has is there, I'm going to ask this real quick. Is there anyone who has any problems with the homeowners association board? Please don't feel like we're going to get mad or anything. We need this constructive criticism, especially as the new board, as the new board will be taking control um, next year. I want to make sure that we can correct what we can correct now and pass that information on to whoever is going to be in control next year. And if any of you don't, if anyone doesn't know, we are a self-managed homeowners association, a functioning one, which is very rare nowadays. We do not have any company involvement. We've tried it; doesn't work, at least for our neighborhood. Every dollar that's every dollar that's brought in through homeowners association dues or other means all goes back into the neighborhood. So um, I believe that's it. I'm going to stay on here for just a few minutes. If anyone has any additional questions, um, please ask the questions. Oh, I'm sorry. I always say that, but I got one more. I got one more thing on your fences. Some of you need to start looking at your fences. Some of your fences are starting to fall over. Um, I'm trying to stay away from bothering anyone about fences right now, but please start to look at your fences. If you do a little repair, you will save yourself a lot of money from having to have your whole fence replaced. Please think about that. Um, and I think that's it. I'm just going to hang out here for just a little while longer. If anyone's got any questions, please ask your questions. If anyone's got any issues, please write a comment so we can address your issues. We don't care what they are, no one's going to get offended. Well, and while we're waiting for questions, I'll just bring this up. Over the summer, we had a lot of issues with kids, mainly with the parents more than the kids, because we stress this summer, like we do every year. Do not let your underage kids come to the pool by themselves because things happen. You never know when no one's there and they drown. You can drown in the smallest amount of water. We do not want that um, um, on our conscience. So please remember that. And some people got offended this year because of how I handle the situations. Sometimes you have to make a few examples to make sure that people that everyone gets the point. So this year I did make a few examples. We suspended multiple keys this year. We also remember, if you send your kids down there by themselves, you are responsible for their activities. If they go down and start fights, which has happened, if they go down there and do graffiti, any type of graffiti, um, you will be responsible. If they bring 30 of their friends, which is a violation of the pool rules, we're going to come back looking at you, not the kid. So please remember that. Um, I think that's everything I got for the pool and stuff. Um, One other big thing, if you notice, the streets are starting to be built. And from what I've been told, the not Legion is complete and they're constructing homes at a rapid pace. Parafet is about to start the process because they've already sent the city plans for constructing the road to complete that, and that'll be our last street. I'm not going to say a date when Greyhawk will fully be out of our neighborhood, but it's getting rapidly close. They are building a few houses on Antietam. They are building a few houses on Antietam Court, which surprised me and a few of the board members. But right now they are constructing, or they're going to be in the process of constructing 4 new houses on Antietam Court. There's going to be one at the end of the cul-de-sac, and there'll be 3 that will be behind 1011. I think that's 1011, 1009. I could be off a little bit by the numbers. Um, but it's going to be a little bit different than the houses that are already in the neighborhood. There will be 3 houses sharing one driveway. Um, so it'll look a little different. But the houses, from what I've seen and been told, they're still going to be in the 1,700 to 2,200 square foot range. Besides that, that's it. Um, I'm gonna stay 5 more minutes. So if you got any questions, ask your questions. Um, I guess I'll keep talking while I'm waiting for any questions. The I will say I've enjoyed the years with the homeowners association, and I've enjoyed helping to develop this neighborhood. And I'm sure that my predecessors, I'm sure, I'm sure, I'm sure my replacements will do a phenomenal job. And as I say, I will not be just dropping everything. I will be there to consult where any consulting is needed, and I will make sure that they have a perfectly good transition and from me to the next head of the board. And And as I say, everything I do is all it's only possible because we have such wonderful neighbors. We have I love the diversity in this neighborhood. When I go through other neighborhoods and I deal with other homeowners association, we have more diversity than most. We have friendlier neighbors. We have just an overall just I wouldn't say perfect neighborhood, but we have a nearly perfect neighborhood. Other neighborhoods have so many issues internally that we do not have to deal with. So and that's all because of how you treat each other on the street and how you treat the people who live next door to you and in front of you, in some cases behind you. So at this point, I'm going to end the stream. I thank everyone. This video will be available probably in about 10 minutes or so. And if there's any additional questions, remember send it to the email address that's up there or send me a text. I'll take a text. Thank you and have a blessed day and thank you for being part of Lexington Hills.